Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, December 14th. This is Gina Palma. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen some precipitation across the Great Basin, especially over the southern two-thirds of the region. However, most of this precipitation was below normal in the lower elevations and near to just above normal over the higher terrain of Utah and back into parts of Nevada. Further north, up into the central Idaho mountains and Wyoming, is where we've seen more of the below normal precipitation for the last 2-week period. Looking at the snowfall over the last 72 hours, the image on the left shows that we have seen some snowfall in the northern half of the Great Basin, especially in the higher terrain of Idaho, Wyoming, and northern Utah. And then our snow depth you can see is highest over parts of the Sierra and also over central Idaho and into Wyoming and northern Utah. Looking at how this relates to what we would normally see this time of year, the snowpack is generally near normal over much of the Great Basin. The only area that is a little bit more below normal would be over the central Idaho mountains. Looking at our satellite loop from this morning, you can see the ridge of high pressure that's been dominating the Great Basin is now moving eastward. We do have a stronger area of low pressure that is approaching the west coast. Therefore, we will see an increase in winds today over parts of the Sierra, up into northwest Nevada and parts of Idaho. Also, a significant increase in cloud cover today, and we will start to see some showers move across the northern half of the Great Basin as we move into tonight into early Saturday. And looking at the weather pattern for later today, you can see that trough moves along the west coast by later this afternoon and this evening, pushing mainly cloud cover across the Great Basin, but tonight we will start to see some showers, light showers, move across parts of Idaho into northern Nevada. Looking at the ventilation index, you can generally see poor dispersion region-wide. However, the winds today will be increasing, but mainly over California and into the Sierra and the far western Nevada foothills, with gusts above 35 or 40 miles per hour. Also, over parts of southern Idaho, we will see a slight increase in winds. However, most of these gusts will be in the 20s. Therefore, mixing heights will remain very low across most of the area, with the exception of where the winds will really increase, which is over far western areas of the Great Basin and into parts of Idaho. As we move into Saturday, this trough of low pressure moves off to the east quickly, so we will see a return of warmer and drier weather to the Great Basin as we move throughout the day on Saturday with poor dispersion region-wide. But you can see another strong trough of low pressure well off the west coast. On Saturday, winds will decrease from what we'll see today. Still be some pockets of gustier winds, but again, for the most part, generally light winds, especially across Utah and eastern Nevada, and mixing heights again remaining very low region-wide. On Sunday, we see that trough of low pressure approach the west coast, so we will see an increase in cloud cover initially, and maybe winds pick up slightly in the far west, however mostly over California, so still poor dispersion across the Great Basin on Sunday. Again, those winds start to increase in California and generally remain light to moderate across the basin. We will see mixing heights start to improve over the Sierra into western Nevada in advance of that system on Sunday, but otherwise very low mixing heights across the rest of the region. Looking at the forecast clearing index for the next few days for Utah, you can see very low clearing indices really over the next few days. The only exception will be Saturday. As those winds increase a little bit in the higher terrain of Utah, we will see higher clearing indices, again mainly in the central and northern mountains. Looking at the 3-day precipitation that takes us through early Monday morning, this first system will only bring very light amounts of precipitation to Idaho, Wyoming, and parts of far western Nevada, with heavier amounts with the second system later in the weekend over parts of California and the northwest. As we move into Monday, this main system off the coast starts to push inland, and we will see precipitation move across the Great Basin overnight Sunday and through the day on Monday. This is for later in the day on Monday, so again, most of that precipitation will be occurring early morning through about early afternoon, and it will generally target the northern half of the Great Basin. Dispersion will improve with this system as it moves across over western Nevada and the Sierra, but still remain low over northern and eastern areas. On Tuesday, this system moves eastward, and we do have high pressure rebuilding across the Great Basin. The only exception may be some clouds or light showers in the far northern areas up towards Idaho and Wyoming. Otherwise, drier conditions with inversions starting to redevelop across Nevada and Utah. So again, poor dispersion region-wide. As we move into Wednesday and Thursday, this ridge really starts to take hold, so those inversions will strengthen as we get towards the middle of the week with poor dispersion across the region. And again, this will continue on Thursday. So generally light winds, strong inversions, and very little clouds impacting the region. Looking at the precipitation, again, this is mainly accounting for that second system that moves through on Monday, showing the precipitation a little bit better chances up across central Idaho into Wyoming, but we will also see earlier in the day on Monday precipitation move across northern Nevada and parts of Utah. The 8 to 14 day outlook shows near normal temperatures in the north with warmer conditions in the far south and generally below normal precipitation region-wide as we head into the end of December. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Monday for the latest updates.